Hi friends, Amy Julia here. We are looking this week at Psalm 51 in our Lenten conversations about the Psalms. But before we turn to that, I want to ask you if you've ever had a time when you really needed a bath. And I mean like really, really, really needed it, because in our Western culture, it's really easy to take a shower or a bath most days. We've got running water, we've got hot water, we have abundant amounts of soap. But there was this one time in my life when my husband Peter and I were driving cross country. We were young and we didn't have very much money. And so we were not staying in hotels. We were staying with relatives and friends or camping out or on occasion just sleeping in the car. So there was this one stretch from like Chicago to Seattle where we didn't know anyone. So we just got dirty. We hiked every day. And we did not shower or bathe in any way. And so by the time we got to Seattle, we were caked with dirt and sweat, and we'd been sleeping in the same clothes, and it was stinky and musty and gross. And I just remember how sweet it was to get into a shower and to feel the cleansing water and soap, to watch the dirt run off my body. I had been starting to like itch and it was uncomfortable, in addition to being obviously unattractive and unappealing and all of those things. And I think about that because there's a lot of imagery in the Bible and a lot of imagery in this psalm that we're reading today about God cleansing us from our sin. I tend to think about sin in pretty negative terms. And I tend to think even of God forgiving us from sin or cleansing us from sin in also kind of negative terms. Like, why do you have to be so judgy? Why is it such a big deal? But when I think about the imagery of God cleansing us from sin, in the same way that I think about standing under the water of that shower and letting it wash me clean, and just what a beautiful, sweet relief it was, I wonder whether that is what God's cleansing is like. I wonder whether it is the tender care of a mother who is caring for a baby after they've gotten all messy. I wonder if it is that of a wife caring for a husband when he has had surgery and his wounds need tending. I wonder if it is an intimate gesture of love when we are in a helpless position and we've found ourselves, by want of our own mistakes, our own bad choices, or even just factors all around us that have gotten us into a pit of dirt and blood and sweat and muck. I wonder whether it is out of God's great intimate care and love for us that he offers to wash us clean. So it's with that in mind that I want to turn to Psalm 51. David is writing this psalm, and he begins by saying, "Have mercy on me, O God, according to your unfailing love. According to your great compassion, blot out my transgressions. Wash away all my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin." He writes a bit more, prays a bit more about his transgressions, his sins, and then he says, "Cleanse me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Let me hear joy and gladness. Let the bones you have crushed rejoice. Hide your face from my sins and blot out all my iniquity. Create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me." I offer this psalm this week as a way for us to think about the invitation, not only to be cleansed by God, but the invitation to bring our dirty, messy, smelly, wounded, vulnerable selves to God. Not to have to clean up our act, not to have to clean ourselves. We can't even do it. But instead to bring it to him and to say, "Would you cleanse me? Would you give me a new spirit, a pure heart, a clean body, mind, soul, a way to experience the healing relief of the cleansing love of God." That's what we're invited to this week, and that's what this psalm makes me think about. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back next week.